Let's go.
Strong signal. Station.
We're rolling. We're gonna go in 7, 6, 5, 4,
Bringing you on the front line and beyond the headlines.
Outside the wire.
Outside the Wire.
Outside the Wire with Bob Parks, coming to you live from the Sunday Drive studios here in Massachusetts, and through the wonders of modern technology. On the line with us, we have John Stossel, 2020 anchor from ABC News. John, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Bob.
Now, you have a new book out.
The subtitle is the point that everything you know is wrong was my experience, that as I grew up a liberal consumer reporter and then watched government regulations fail and watched some of the popular scientific points peddled by the media prove to be wrong, so much of what I felt true turned out to be a myth or a lie or downright stupid, and so that's what's inside.
Certain things that keep you up at night and you just say, hey, this is something I'm going to go after?
Sometimes it just sort of interests me, like your dog's mouth is cleaner than yours, which people say, and sure, you don't get diseases from your dog because the germs tend not to make humans sick, but just look at where your dog puts his mouth. Why would you think your dog's mouth was cleaner than yours? It's just silly. Others are based on current events, a lot of things based on what government does. Congress prints the congressional record and then allows members to lie about what they said. They say, I stand now on the floor of the House of Representatives, when they never even said that on the floor, and they're just putting in stuff to suck up to their constituents. So it's the usual mix we do in 2020 because we try to make it interesting, and because we know if we don't, we're fired.
What are you going to be talking about tonight on your show?
Tonight I'm talking about the doo-wop groups, like the Coasters and the Platters and the Drifters, and how they get ripped off by imitators who aren't really them. And we got one of the originals to go to one of the concerts, and he gets pissed off and charges on the stage. We're on shortly.
Do you ever run into people who say, oh, my God, here's John Stossel. What's he going to do? What is he going to say? Is he going to tear us a new one? How are you welcomed when you walk into places?
You make a good point. And the previous book was Give Me a Break, and I'm often saying give me a break about people and the things they're claiming or doing. It doesn't endear me to people, but the nice thing about being on TV for years is, by and large, people are pretty welcoming. But if I'm showing up, people are friendly, even if they're crooks. They say, John Stossel, how are you? And then they start doing their explanation. And the only time anybody really did anything nasty to me was a pro wrestler who beat me up for saying wrestling was fake, but that was the exception.
My daughter had trouble sleeping last night. She brought home the latest issue of GeoTrek, brought to us by the Weekly Reader. On the cover, the lead story, when temperatures are leaving the Arctic on thin ice. Of course, such an issue on climate change wouldn't be complete without the pictures of those cute, cuddly polar bears. People are entitled to their opinions, but one would hope that when disseminating information to grade schoolers, that information would be factually correct, not politically correct. I explained as quickly as a parent could to alleviate the trauma a young girl was experiencing from reading this booklet, that the pictures were probably shot during the Arctic summer, when it is warm enough for humans and their cameras to take them. Seeing how it was summer there, that would explain the thinning ice packs, not global warming. I then sent scans of the booklet to Dr. Tim Ball, chairman of the Natural Resources Stewardship Project, a renowned environmental consultant and former professor of climatology at the University of Winnipeg, for his opinion on the contents of this Weekly Reader publication. Dear Bob, the exploitation of children is despicable, and this is a perfect example. First, let me quote Mitch Taylor, probably the world expert on polar bears. Here's a comment he made last year. It still holds true today. Of the 13 populations of polar bear in Canada, 11 are stable or increasing in number. They are not going extinct or even appear to be affected at present. Mitch has lived in Nunavut for over 30 years and agreed with the Inuit who were saying the counts by flyover scientists were wrong. He said the Inuit were right. There just aren't a few more bears. There are a hell of a lot more bears. That should help my daughter sleep better tonight. Too bad I can't reach the hundreds of thousands of children who've also read this booklet. Dr. Ball continued. The article is wrong because it assumes the bears depend solely on the seals for food. At the Alaska State hearings on polar bears, Tina Cunnings, a biologist and polar bear expert, pointed out they descended from grizzlies and have retained the ability to change diets and scavenge successfully on land. This helps explain how they survived previous warmer periods than today, when ice conditions were significantly less than today. With regard to the ice, which is at the heart of the issue, the GeoTrek article is very selective and extremely limited in its information. The map it uses shows summer conditions only, and that is deceitful. We only have accurate records in the modern era from 1980 to the present. Every winter, about 16 million square kilometers of ice form. Here is a satellite image for April 2nd of 2007. Here is a map for August 1st. And here is the map for November 27th. The public doesn't know that about 10 million square kilometers of ice, equal to the area of the U.S., melts every year. There have been no reports that the ice has formed more rapidly this year than any in the satellite record. They haven't told the public that Antarctic sea ice was the most on record. Apparently there's a lot the public hasn't been told, especially to kids who are the most impressionable. If those at the Weekly Reader truly believe humans can stop global warming and wish to debate someone who truly knows the issue, I can set it up. But there's no nobility in indoctrinating little kids in an effort to turn them into little liberal eco-activists. It's cowardly, and intentionally sending kids to bed crying is just plain sick.